Welcome to another episode of The Velvet Hammer.
And here we go.
All right, this is episode number 3 on...
Episode number 2.
No, it's number 3. Number 1 was physical, number 2 was mental health personally, and number 3 is going to be how our taking care of our mental health or not affects our responsibilities at work.
God, that's a big one. Lot to unpack.
Well, there's an RPC on it.
Oh, God. RPC.
Let me just give you a quick AI breakdown.
All right,
Okay.
like that.
Lawyer burnout is a chronic state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion caused by high-stress environments, long hours, and relentless perfectionism, affecting over 50% of surveyed lawyers. It leads to cynicism, reduced efficiency, insomnia, and anxiety. Overcoming it requires setting firm boundaries, self-care, and potential workplace changes. The signs can be constant exhaustion, reduced performance, negativity and isolation, physical issues such as insomnia, headaches, weakened immunity, and high blood pressure, and substance abuse.
Yes.
So
It's very serious because...
It is very serious.
Because you don't hear about it as often now, which is also worrisome. But the substance abuse issue is pretty well known.
yeah,
I think it's harder to see now because now people work remotely.
Yeah.
You don't see them going out after work and doing it in public.
well, since COVID in general, people are going out less
Yeah.
overall.
But
so
it doesn't mean that they stop drinking.
drinking or doing drugs.
Yeah.
And some of those drugs, I mean, that's the thing. Some of those things are done for the purpose of trying to
Yeah.
continue that overworkness.
Yeah.
You know, using smart drugs and stuff like that that keep you focused or awake, and same problem. Then they're overextending themselves.
So, I mean, I've touched on this, and I said last time, as you know, I'm the person that keeps going mentality. And I was thinking about that was something that was I was trained on at a very early age.
Well, I think everybody from
You just keep on going.
our generations, that was the way to go. You don't stop.
No, and there's a lot of positive reasons why not to. I can remember something as ambiguous as being in like a piano recital and flubbing it, but I knew that you just keep going, and you just keep going. Even if you're scared or even if you freak yourself out, you just keep going, and that's like the most easy kind of example. It was not the result of anything other than that's what you're supposed to do. This as a musician, you just
Yeah.
keep on going.
No, you just
and
keep
you hope
playing.
maybe people just thought, well, that was just meant to
Nobody
be.
will
Like
notice if you keep playing.
that. Yeah,
I mean, a few people will, but mostly the audience won't know.
But that metaphor carries over to what we're talking about, and especially when people are dependent upon you, it's hard if you're responsible, feel responsible to stop. And so, on a personal level, about 4 to 5 years ago, in one of my many episodes of this is Karen's yearly or bi-yearly letter announcing different things, I started to realize that I was burnout. I mean, I pretty much hit a lot of the markers, not all of those markers. Obviously, I don't do drugs or alcohol. I don't have insomnia. I just don't sleep very much. But I did feel oppressed, and I felt like, how can I keep doing this? And I pretty much worked all the way through that experience, because I don't feel that way anymore. Denny came here, Mo came here. It really started changing, and I did my own work on myself too. I was talking to two different coaches, Darian and then Sherry, my other coach. Sherry Vernon, by the way, she's exceptional.
The best.
Sherry Vernon, let me just say, free advertisement.
The best.
She helped me basically prioritize, but I never did confront it and deal with it. I had to let it. My issue is I just couldn't keep doing this much but I was. Most people would, and I had the risk of, if I hadn't seen a doctor, have my event, doing something, some permanent damage. But I can remember just not being quite as happy as I normally am. I'm normally a pretty happy person. I can remember never dreaded work, but I was, plus it was in the pandemic.
Yeah.
But that state of being, I knew was not sustainable. What I've seen in real life and what I've experienced in my job site is that most people, when they get to a point of burnout, overstay it, like I did, not as long, and then collapse. In some way, something bad is going to happen. That's been my experience of seeing friends, other colleagues, some coworkers, some family. That is typically what happens. You don't just have a burnout and suddenly. It's a long time brewing. You pass that point of no return. You should have stopped before you became burnout and dealt with it, but you didn't. You just kept going, and now you're burnt out, and that's a really dangerous time. Because not only for you personally, but your clients, your law firm or your business, whatever it is, you have these extraordinary professional duties, or your job is in jeopardy. Your license can be pulled. Bad things can happen. You can commit malpractice. You're not thinking as clearly. Things are more foggy. You're not getting all the tasks. You become less efficient. And I don't really know how you deal with that. I think that in this profession, we tend to try to be proactive in the firm if we see someone doing it. Like we can tell like somebody's really slowing down. We will try to be proactive, but it's also like there's a sense of, well, it's none of my business. Should I be doing that?
That can be really tough trying to tell somebody what to do.
Should I talk to somebody? Like I've crossed those lines with people. But that's because, I'm a managing partner, but it is very delicate, and you have to have really good relationships with people to be able to do that to begin with. But it's just not how our culture is. Our culture is suck it up and get over it and keep going.
What about you, Mo?
You're talking about this, and I feel myself like, because I wouldn't call it triggered, but I feel what you're saying, and because I felt this, I think the hardest part is getting burned out, like understanding what that means, like identifying it.
Have you ever been burnt out?
I've several times in my life.
Yeah,
I've burned out, and different types of burnout.
And you're better at describing your emotions than I am. Yeah. I'm like terrible at it, as you can tell. Yeah. So if you could help the listener, not because I'm trying to put you on the spot, but just because I am deficient in my ability to explain my emotions, because I am a robot, AI creature. Slightly joking, but not really. But Mo, you're able to much more eloquently, because you're in better contact with your emotions.
Yeah.
Than I am. Can you, and honestly, can I just say, yes, I call him Moody Hamoudi, because he calls himself Moody Hamoudi, but I do think that there's something really precious about that ability to be in touch with your emotions, especially if you're, a guy that likes to go to the woods and shoot guns and wrestle, do taekwondo or do jitsu and stuff. Like I think that is a great thing to be able to do. I wish I could do it better.
I think I can talk about something that I can say is that burning out is not specific to work. Like burning out can just happen. And it's when your nervous system just goes out of whack or starts to unravel and stuff. And probably one example of me burning out was in New York City when...
well, wait. You don't have to tell us personal circumstances.
Okay.
what I'd rather you do, I mean, unless you want to, but what I was hoping you could do is just tell us what that feels like, because
Okay.
I'm not good at, I didn't do a good job at
Okay.
it. If I didn't want to cut you off, but I
Yeah.
also didn't want you to have to.
That's fine. I don't have to tell personal, but what it feels like is that you feel untethered from ground and body, and you are your breathing is quickened at various times. You're constantly reeling in your mind. You're spinning. You're spinning. You're
But not
you're
going anywhere.
catastrophizing. You're not really going anywhere. Your day is not being spent in what I call the planned, productive manner. Your time and energy is not protected. Your nervous system is not calm, and you are not operating with purpose. You're not operating with meaning in your life, which is you're not operating within your value system. You're just sort of functioning, and you can tell that you are physically not well, or nervous-wise, physiologically, you're not feeling well, and so what sometimes people do.
Can we just stop and pause there? Because my experience is that helped me to hear you say that, but I don't share all of those traits, and I wanted to know if that resonated with Mike when you've been burnt out.
It does.
Okay.
I'd say the disconnection is what I would call the main symptom that I've always noticed whenever I'm experiencing burnout, and it's happened to me with music before, where I was doing too much, and because that's something that I do after work, but it can take up a ton of my time after work, and then you're doing, at that point, sometimes it's like I've got a second job. And the physical part, I mean, I'll feel bad all the time. Headaches, neck aches.
Yeah.
But it's more the disconnected thing, where it's like you don't feel connected to the things that you like to do in life. Often is how I feel. And if it's work related, I don't want to do anything. That's like I really have lost interest in it all. So at that point, I'm running on autopilot.
Yeah.
And that's why things can go bad really easily. Then things
Yeah.
can be messed up very easily. Then, and that then perpetuates that cycle even worse. If something bad happens, then you're even more depressed about it.
Yeah, so that's a very good description. It skews your judgment. So, like, you're not making choices in the way in which
Yeah.
you would when you're not like that.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, at least I think, it leads to depression.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, depression to me is I have a very specific definition for it, is that you stop feeling. So, to me, depression is not a state of sadness. It's a state of disinterestedness, where you're not emoting or emotionally responding to stimuli. And you're just sort of shut down. And so, there's like a process where, as the nervous system is shooting disoriented, all over the place, it'll then go into this space. Then it'll go into the depression. So,
Well, and that's also when people, if people are prone to abusing things, that's when that starts, whether it's bad behavior or drugs and alcohol or, dangerous behavior.
Yes.
All of those things is when that stuff comes out. And like I said, that then just compounds everything. It gets worse and worse and worse.
and what's super interesting is you say the alcohol and dangerous judgment choices come in. They're intended to re-stimulate your nervous system.
Yeah.
Because you need the stimulus.
Yeah.
Right? So alcohol will stimulate you. But then it's a depressant.
Then
or
it-
the
yeah,
drug
then it-
will stimulate you.
yeah.
Or behavior, you want to say, and I've had somebody say this to me. It says, you are looking to want to feel alive again because you don't feel alive anymore.
Yeah.
That's what's driving the behavior. So I was like, oh my
So
goodness.
I feel like you guys have definitely bonded over this, and I feel very excluded
Oh, sorry.
because I do not go through that. When I talk about burnout,
Yeah.
I literally just mean like I'm the little engine that could, and then slowly it seems like I don't want to.
Oh no.
That's all that it is. I don't have a desire to. I don't do this separation thing. I literally just feel like I can't do this. I'm running out of steam, and there's a slight. I think my kids would agree with this. Like, I am not as silly and joyful as I probably normally am, because I'm pretty silly and pretty joyful. There's just a down a notch, but I don't feel almost anything that you guys described, and that's either because I do not feel it because it's there and I just disregard it, or I literally don't feel it. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, or I think everybody has different reactions and intensity of their emotions, and it's possible that you just run more even.
I am quite an even
Yeah,
person.
I mean, you just
but
run even.
It's like I definitely feel like, because I still
You
like
still
my
notice a
work.
change.
I do.
Yeah.
And it's just that, like, how am I going to keep doing this? And it's more of a fatigue feeling.
Where I don't stop. Like the pain and that stuff happens, and you keep going.
That's why that's what I told you.
Yeah.
I think that I was burnt out for several years, but I just
Oh, you
kept
were.
going.
I'm sure. I'm sure you were.
Yeah.
But you just kept going.
I keep going.
And so do Mo and I. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
all of that stuff happens.
But you
and it's
have
not
a-
until now
you
that
have
I'm
a
able to
richer
recognize it.
You guys have a richer experience. I'm quite jealous.
You're
I
just
am quite jealous.
angry you don't get
have
enough
you have
feeling.
a richer experience of being burnt out. I've had this very subpar experience.
Maybe just because you're not describing it or had the opportunity to like sit with somebody and contextualize
No,
it. in
I'm
real
listening to you guys, and I can listen and feel
No,
when people,
yeah.
and I really cannot. I cannot go. I like. Yeah, that doesn't.
You've
even
said stuff
resonate.
like this before. This isn't the first time we've heard that.
Yeah, but it's cool that you guys are bonding over it. So please continue.
Yeah, but one of the things is I've learned is that when you're very young,
Yeah.
you develop the response mechanism to
Yeah.
nervous system failures. Or
But I
nervous
think you
system
guys did a great job of explaining it. And so let's talk about, let me just talk about the thing that really resonated. It didn't resonate. It really didn't resonate with me. And I thought, this is a thing that's really a problem. And you guys talked about basically a severing. Okay. Which I don't have that. And I would think, and not wanting to come back, I would think that that has to be extremely concerning because of how responsible both of you guys are, right? You're responsible for running this firm and doing all this stuff. You're responsible ethically to your clients. Like, how does that, like the fact that you have that experience, does that in and of itself cause you distress?
It doesn't for me anymore because I learned how to deal with it.
To avoid
and that
it.
took a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I won't say that that's an easy thing to do, but I learned what a lot of my triggers were, the way that I reacted to stuff. And, you know, and it also helps that I'm started taking medication. All of those things help deal with it, but it's mainly recognizing when it's happening and dealing with it before it goes too long. Like you said, you thought you were doing it for a long time. If that can be years, then you definitely could have made changes before then that would have affected it. Taking time off, spending more time in relaxing situations, doing meditation, you know, finding hobbies that help you relax. All of those things are things that you can do to keep burnout from happening, or just working less. Really, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Taking less responsibility in the workplace. And some people can't do that.
Yeah.
And they will then continue to deal with burnout if they don't find a way to deal.
How do you come out of it?
How do I come out of it?
Yeah, Mike told us how he comes.
Well, I
how
mean,
he's
like
feeling
right
about
now
it.
in my life,
Well, you can use any part in time.
I mean, like I think that you are very good in like
just talk to people that might be suffering from burnout.
Well, if you're suffering from burnout, you know, I always say there are two things, like support and meaning. They work hand in hand. Support is your circle, the people who support you. And meaning is your value system, but it's also your social value system, right? Like who's your tribe and people and, thing. You have to tap into support and meaning. And so one of the things I do is I've developed is I go to my support system and I let them support me. And I tell them I'm overwhelmed or I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. And then I listen to what they tell me. And so they'll tell me, like, you have to organize your life more. You have to be more this. And, I have people who I ask. And they tell me, you got to do this more for yourself. You got to do this more for yourself. And I take their advice.
Do you?
I do. I do.
I was going to say, I don't always take
let
the
me
advice.
Exhibit A. Mo decided he was going to not only start an entire basketball team for his 10-year-old at school, that he was going to coach it on top of having this job, his pro bono work, being president of the Federal Bar Association, teaching class at the Seattle University, and wanting to go play basketball every once in a while himself.
That's a good example.
He decides, and I say, you need to stop coaching next year. You can't do this again. Because he goes to these tournaments. He's gone Saturday, Sunday, and then he wants to take him to dinner and all this stuff and overfunction because that's who he is. Oh, you should see their little faces. And then he goes, and I'm going to violate a client patient. Then he goes and tells his coach that, and she says, yeah, you need to make priorities inside him. He's like, okay, I'm not going to do it. And then 3 weeks later, he says, yeah, I'm going to coach him next year again.
So that's a good example.
Here's a question, though,
Yeah.
that I'll say.
He was so burnt out.
Does the coaching of the team give you joy and take away from the work week and all that kind of stuff?
So much joy.
So that's the thing.
So
It's
much joy.
a little bit of a
Then he
balance.
needs to quit. Then doesn't.
But he probably needs to
work?
find something else not to do
Yeah.
when you do that.
Well, he also said that. He also says, here's his I'm just going to blast your personal stuff.
Yeah.
His excuse is, well, it's time with my son. I said, it's time with your son and 12 other kids.
Yeah, but it's still time with his son. Like
He
I
can
said,
spend
I
time
think
with
that
his son.
I think that is something that's on the positive side. And while some of the positives still can cause you stress, I think that that's the solution to a lot of it, is finding the balance between those things.
Yeah, you got to make your decisions, right?
But-
you can't do
Yeah, it's true.
all of
He's
it.
still overextending himself. Don't
But
get
she's
me
right.
wrong.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're
we're all
both
right. We're all
You're
right.
both right.
Yeah.
You're both completely right. And so where I struggle is that where you say support and meaning is that I do too much to try to extract meaning out of my life, because that's like my anchor. That's like what my that's what holds me, because if I don't have that, if I don't have meaning, like, that's where I get into trouble. And so, but she's right. I do overextend myself. So, but I listen to other stuff that you've said.
Whatever. But this is a serious subject,
It is a serious subject.
and there are people that do not recover from this.
No.
Or there are people that make a fatal mistake.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is the reason for attorneys to be paying attention to this. This could very badly affect your clients.
Yeah.
You have to, as a lawyer, the rules of professional conduct make it part of the objective is to make sure that you are able to give advice and represent your client. And if you are not able to take care of yourself and that interferes with your ability, you have a responsibility. The bar has a lot of resources to help you. There's programs that help lawyers with addiction, with substance use. But where I see it is at lawyer events, like socializing events.
Well, I was going to say, that's the thing.
I
It's
see it.
everyone's. It's the convention. So hey, let's all get loaded.
Yeah, and then you go.
Well, that's a culture that they
And that's
built.
that's a culture.
Why is that okay? Why is there always so much drinking? I mean, I've grown up, seeing this. And the big thing for me, one of the reasons, again, I'm not just marginalized because I'm a female. I was marginalized because I was a female who had 3 children who I had to get home to, and I couldn't go to the, social hours after work where people were in the bars. I don't understand bar culture at all. It's just not my culture. And sometimes I wish it was, because it looks kind of fun. Like, well, there's that cute little bar. That would be so fun. You just go in there and hang out with your neighborhood friends. It sounds great. But the drinking part doesn't resonate with me at all. But for the lawyer events, it is the high point of it.
Because there's a distinction between going to an event, having a drink or 2 drinks, and having so many drinks that you're inebriated. And now, remember, you're out there as a professional lawyer, and your behavior is going to obviously change if you're inebriated. You're not the same lawyer in a courtroom.
But if 11% of the population has alcohol use disorder, then why aren't we more sensitive culturally to that?
Because it's a masculine thing. Being able to drink means you're powerful.
Well, I know
means you're
some women
tough.
to get down.
No, I'm not saying it's true. Yeah. I'm saying that's what people think. It's that old school male-dominated lawyer thing. Hey, we're all sitting down with a cigar and a thing of scotch.
It's just not. I mean, this firm has gone through a cultural shift. We would do president exchanges, which could be very fun, the white elephant president exchanges. Yeah. But 90% of it was alcohol.
It was always alcohol.
That's so true. That so many gifts I received,
and that's fine, right,
nice
for people that can like it and drink it responsibly. But what about the 11% of the people there that are secretly, because they don't come out and say it, have an alcohol use disorder?
Yeah.
That's a big percentage.
Or just don't drink. People that don't drink at all, are they going to want to have alcohol as a gift? Probably not.
I give it
away.
I used to get so much. I mean, no offense, but someone just came over the other day and brought me a bottle of wine, and it's very lovely. Thank you for the. I mean, I'm going to always say thank you very much, but it's going to somewhere else since I don't drink.
Usually these days we give it to whenever we go to another party, we just hand it off to them.
Yeah. But the fundamental issue at the bottom or at the top of what this should be is, yes, there's a personal cost when we don't take care of ourselves and our mental health as best as we can. But there's also a cost to other people that are dependent upon us.
Yeah, you have to protect your time and energy, calm your nervous system, get support and meaning, and find ways to have like a plan to do that. Otherwise, you're just at risk. If you're working as long as Karen and I or you are, burning out.
I wouldn't say you're at risk. I think it's just a matter of time.
It is a matter of time, which in itself will cause stress and distress to you because you're worried that, let's say that you're a solo practitioner.
Yeah.
What happens when everything falls apart?
I mean, that's your whole income. That their clients argue, I don't have a backup plan. I mean, and you have fallen apart. Now just the repercussions are enormous on all levels. Yeah. And can you get that back? So it's really fraught. We don't spend enough time with it.
No.
Because people are embarrassed about it.
Good episode.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for today.
Until next time.